I wanted to share the ways that I have personally gotten hired at yoga studios or gyms. So, as a yoga teacher, my name is Ashley. I'm a yoga teacher trainer, and I help new yoga teachers and trainees with confidence in their yoga class creation and helping them to be their best, most authentic yoga teacher selves. You can find me at ashesyoga.com, more resources there. Great, got that done. So today I am talking about my experience with getting hired at yoga studios. My first experience teaching group fitness was way back in college, actually just out of college. I just graduated. I was taking fitness classes and yoga classes and doing yoga at home, and there was a sign on the door that of the wellness center at the university. I worked at the college at the university, so I would go to the wellness center and take classes. And one of them was body pump, and it said there's a body pump training. There's a sign on the door, become a body pump instructor. I was so nervous about asking about this, but I went to the group fitness coordinator, and I very shyly was like, so there's a thing on the door, like I'm kind of interested. And at this time I knew I wanted to be a yoga teacher, but I also was so scared to admit it because I thought people would think I was crazy, and you had to be this crazy fancy guru person, or I don't know. I just thought it wasn't for me, but at the same time, deep down, I wanted to be a yoga teacher. But I really liked body pump classes, and there was a sign on the door saying become an instructor, and that could be like the first thing I did. So what I do, I took the training. And it was so scary. I remember that, and I took the weekend training. I got certified. I went through the scary process of getting in front of people and presenting, and I wasn't very good right away, but I got better. And in time, I kept learning, kept at it, and kept practicing. And that's all you could do, whether it's fitness or presenting in front of people or yoga. Just keep practicing. So I got that job because I was a regular attendee in the classes. The Group X coordinator knew me. I did the training, and then they're like, yeah, we'll hire you. So that was really cool. And after that, I did a PIO training at the college. They hosted PIO training, which is like a Pilates, yoga, dancey type fusion. I did a ripped training at a neighboring gym. And then I did Yoga Fit Level 1 because they needed more yoga teachers at the University Wellness Center. So I worked at that wellness center, or I worked at the college wellness center for a year or so. And then I also applied to teach body pump at a big gym. And I just went on the internet and applied, or I think I maybe talked to somebody. But I think I actually knew the Group X coordinator there too. So I emailed her directly saying, hey, I want a job. And when I do this, I always put in a resume. And I think that's just good practice, best practices, so that people can see who you are right away and see your list of credentials without having to go back and forth. And now my resume is a lot longer when it comes to fitness and yoga stuff. But that's how I got my first 2 jobs at a gym. I attended the classes there. I knew the group fitness coordinators, and I became an instructor. Did CPR training, just went through the whole thing, the whole process. I wasn't yet a yoga teacher. I took my yoga teacher training in 2013, and right after that, I decided I wanted to go all in fitness and yoga, and I quit my full-time job. Oh, looking back, probably should not have done that because I didn't have something super set. But how I got my job at Mojo Fit Studios was my cousin, who was in town as well, was a sound guy, and he was installing the stereo system, and he knew that I had taken yoga teacher training and reached out to me and said, hey, you should check out this yoga studio. It's opening soon. See if you can get a job, or something like that. So I went to the website. It wasn't even up yet, and I emailed the owner, and we met, and she liked my energy, and she hired me. So I don't know that she knew a lot of other yoga teachers because it was just me and her pretty much for a year before we started training more people and getting more people interested in. There's been a lot more yoga teachers, graduating trainings and stuff recently. It's just everyone's got a yoga training certificate now, it seems like. So anyway, we started hiring, and I was kind of part of that process. We moved locations, and I was teaching a lot at that studio, and that's really the only yoga studio I worked at when I was in Fargo, North Dakota. But I also worked at a couple other gyms. There's some other yoga studios that I was like, could have maybe gotten into, but I loved Mojo. I loved the people. I didn't feel like I needed to be at another studio, but I still liked the difference of being at the college university gym because it was a very different demographic. I dabbled with other gyms in the area too. I was a sub at the YMCA for a while teaching body pump, and in Fargo I just applied online to that one. And then the MMA gym. There was a gym that I got a job at, but it's because also I took classes with the owner of that gym. She worked as the group fitness coordinator at the college gym. So I got a lot of ins at like one place, like the college, the university. I met a lot of people. I stayed in contact with them. They knew who I was. I knew who they were. And if I wanted something, or if they needed something, they just asked and I asked. So that kind of like networking and making friends in the places that you love, do that. Do not just cold call or cold email people saying, hey, I want a job at your yoga studio, and you've never stepped foot in their studio. No. So I got a job at an MMA studio. I heard something about, there was Courts Plus. That was a gym with tennis courts in it too. And I really wanted to teach a Budokan, and someone knew that I was a Budokan yoga teacher. I forget who said this. I think it was the other Budokan yoga teacher in town. She reached out and said, she taught there, and she said she just couldn't do it anymore. Would I be willing to do Budokan at Courts Plus? Because the Group X coordinator wanted Budokan there. So because I have this specialty training, they wanted me specifically because it's very hard to get that training, very hard. So there's only 2 of us. And so I said, sure. So I taught at Courts Plus for a while. And that was because of my connections again. And then I moved clear across the country where nobody knows me. I don't have all those connections. And I was like, what do I do? What do I even do? And there wasn't a lot of yoga studios around the area, a few that I went to, but I didn't really know how to get hired, because how I got hired everywhere else, I just knew people. And part of that now is me rebuilding to just know people, so that happens too. And I got a couple jobs. What I do for sure at each yoga studio or a place that I might want to get hired is I check it out first. Highly recommended. Go take classes. Go be a member. Yes, pay money because you are investing in your future, and if they're a quality product, it's going to be worth it. So pay your, 30 days for $30. At least try the trial period. So I did that at the studio, and then I mentioned needing a job. I think I was talking to someone in the studio after class, and I make sure to go to the owner's class. That I can't stress enough either. So do a trial and make sure to go to the owner's class. So this is what I'm learning along the way. Go to the owner's class, introduce yourself, and tell them about yourself. Usually I like to go to the owner's class as my second class. So I'll go to one, just to check it out with any teacher, whatever fits my schedule, whatever is most appealing. And then the second one or beyond that would be going to the owner's class. So then I say, hey, I just started my trial here. I'm really liking it. I loved your class, compliment. And you can even mention that you are also a yoga teacher. And they might need more yoga teachers, or they might just say, oh, cool. That's awesome. Or where'd you get your training? Or, start the conversation and just talk a little bit to see if your guys' vibes fit each other. Okay? Makes sense? I hope it does. So that's how I got my job at other yoga studios in this area, not knowing anyone. So I got on the sub list first. So I said, hey, I can sub. And the reason I didn't pick up classes, and I think I could have, is I was actually, after I moved, was pregnant right away. So I didn't want to pick up any classes, and I was going to move again. Oh boy. So I was a sub for a while, and now looking back, I probably could have taken on a class just because I was fine, a few weeks after the baby was born, but that's fine because we ended up moving away from the studio I was first subbing at. And I also looked into renting a space at another yoga studio that is more of like space rental. And for that, my partner Kyle knows the owner, and so we were able to meet with the owner of the building and see if I would be able to. And I actually backed out of that one. So that was an opportunity. It's just a matter of getting those connections, getting those ducks in a line, and seeing if it fits with you and your life, if that studio does. If you pick up one class a week or even as a sub, believe me, there are tons of opportunities for growth and to do more. If you have a specific thing you love teaching, have it as a workshop because it's a win-win or a lose-lose. I mean, it doesn't matter. No, it's a lose-win, whatever. You're not gonna lose. Why? Because as a workshop, if you don't get participants, it's often a split like 70-30 or something with the studio. They're getting, advertising and marketing for a time slot that typically doesn't have anything going on anyway, and you're getting, visibility and teaching the thing that you love. So after you get into this studio, you can present like, here's a workshop. And I even have a guide on how to come up with a yoga workshop. I digress. But that's kind of, there's always going to be an opportunity. There is plenty of opportunities out there. I just picked up a couple sub requests from a studio that I got hired at, and I'll tell you how. When I was 9 months pregnant, I got hired at a studio as a sub. I started attending this studio and I really loved it. And I wasn't thinking about becoming a teacher yet because I was just about to have a baby, but they knew that I was a yoga teacher and I had a pretty strong practice even 9 months pregnant. And there happened to be a day where the studio manager was talking to the owner. And again, the second class I went to was with the owner. And they were talking after class and I was just walking out, and the manager says to the owner, "Oh, we still need a sub for Saturday. I can't find one." And then I turn around and I'm like, "I'll do it." And they were like, "Yes, please." And so that's how I was just in the right place at the right time. And I was like, I can sub. I've been to that class. I love that class. I know all about that class. And I subbed it, and then I taught a few classes before my baby was born. And then after I was ready, so a month or two later, they gave me a couple classes on the schedule. And looking back, I remember looking at that studio and looking at the long list of instructors and being like, wow, they have a lot of teachers. But in all honesty, most of them teach maybe once a week. They're always looking for subs, twice a week, a few times. So there's always room for more, and there are room for workshops, just clear communication, know what you want to teach and share what you love. And then how I got a job at the YMCA. I actually love the YMCA, by the way. I did not think I would, but the YMCA here locally, I love teaching at yoga studios, but the YMCA has been amazing because they're so just friendly and all inclusive. And because I now have a baby and a family, I get a ton of benefits that way, discounts and childcare and all of that. So the pay isn't the greatest, but it's not all about that. But it's a great place for my family to go and hang out and learn and do activities and all sorts of fun stuff. But anyway, middle of the night, I was like postpartum, feeling like, my life is over. I need to do something. I need something. And I applied like at midnight to just on the YMCA. And they called me the next day and were like, when can we hire you? No, basically they just she called to ask about what I teach. And then this is, I think, the first time I ever had to do a demo. Of all the places I've taught, I've never had to do an audition or a demo. So they made a plan for a certain day to come in and do a demo. I had to do 20 minutes. So like a warm-up, part of a bar class, or a fitness class, a boot camp, and like part yoga. And I was really nervous, actually. And I was to the point where I wasn't going to do it. I was going to call and be like, I decided I didn't want it anymore. And then I just sucked it up and I went. And I did it. And I'm so glad I did, because at that point I was at a stage in my life, and with the baby being just a month or two old, maybe 2 or 3 months, that I was like, I don't know what my life is anymore, and I'm so confused, and I don't know what I want to be doing. Should I be doing this? I haven't taught regularly in so long, and it was so weird to come back to like the fitness Ashley. It's been so long since I've done fitness teaching, but since then I've had a lot of fun with it, teaching Pilates fusions and picking up other classes. They're asking me to do a ton of classes too, and I've had to practice saying no because they don't always fit in my schedule. But it's been a lot of fun. So I guess this is just a longhand version of how I've gotten hired at different studios. Sometimes if it's like or gyms, sometimes if it's a big place, you apply online and hope for the best. Now you can always call too and see if they got your application. When it comes to small studios, boutique places, you can also, there's one more I'll talk about. You go and be part of the community, take the owner's class, reach out, tell them it's a good fit, tell them you'd really love to be part of what they're doing, and get your face known, like have a conversation with them. I also went to another yoga studio here recently, and again, first time I just went to a class, second time I went to the owner's class, and I went to her class and I mentioned, and I talked to her afterwards saying how much I really liked it, and I overheard her talking that they're opening a new studio in the neighboring town, and so I wanted to learn more about that. So I asked her, and I said, I teach hot yoga and Pilates and bar, and she was just like, oh, you teach bar, you teach these things? And I was like, yeah, and I'm open, I'm kind of looking for more opportunities if that's an option. And we met over like schedule and availability. A lot of times it's a scheduling thing, and I didn't give her my resume or anything because she just knew that I taught bar and yoga and Pilates. So we just met, talked about schedule, and picked a class or a time that I'd be available to teach. And so I took that and said, okay, when that studio opens, I can teach that class. And I know in the future there might be other ones that open up, like that time slot might not be the best for me right away. But moving forward, I can always switch things. And other people are going to feel the same too. Like, it's just not going to work. They need a new person to fill this time slot. And even since then, a couple months ago, I've gotten emails asking if I'd be able to fill certain time slots of other classes. I usually have to say no, but it's just cool how many opportunities come up when you just put yourself out there and talk to the right people. So get out there, talk to the right people, network, make your connections. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you're having a great day. If you got hired in a unique way at a yoga studio, I'd love to hear how that went, or if you made mistakes along the way. I don't know. I'd just love to hear your experience with getting hired as a yoga teacher, or what you're struggling with. And I'm here to help you. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments, and make sure to subscribe and check out my new videos every so often that I have. It's getting dark now, which means I should stop making my videos. Okay, bye.